Hello, I'm Patrick McCaffrey with L'Arte NYC Historical Fencing, and this is a series of videos for all of my students that can't come to class because we're not holding class right now. This video is going to be our warm-up that we do every class at L'Arte. It is stolen from an old book that, unless you're Canadian or have been trolling the HEMA or WMA forums since the early 2000s, like 2001, 2002, you might not be familiar with, but it's from a book put out by AEMMA, A-E-M-M-A. I'll try to put a link to the PDF in the notes for this video or in the comments somewhere. But we're going to start off with how we start every class. Draw a sword, point it towards the center, salute, step to a ready stance. We're going to start with a weapon-free or an open hand warm-up, and we're going to start by stretching out the neck. We're going to bring our head to the right side, right hand over, pulling it, extending our left fingers towards the ground. Going to hold this for about 5 to 10 seconds. Both hands on the back of the head, chin to the chest. Stretch out the back of the neck. And I'm not pulling down, I'm just using the weight of my arms to relax down. Head to the left, same as to the right, except this time we're extending our right fingers towards the ground, extending and stretching the right side of the neck. And then chin towards the ceiling, pushing up on our chin with our fists. Now, one of the things that we're not doing is we're not rolling our neck back and forth. We're not, especially rolling it back because it's bad for us. We're just having these nice, easy, static stretches. And when I'm extending my chin towards the ceiling, I'm extending it up and out. I'm not turning my head back. All right. Now the wrist exercises. We're going to be proceeding procedurally, basically from the extremities in and then from top to bottom. So we're going to go to our wrist next. For this, look at your palm. It's a very nice palm. Take your other hand back behind. I want you to grab this meaty part of your wrist, or meaty part of the palm. Turn it in and down. We are just warming up here, so this is not a static stretch. I like to move in and around this, finding tight portions and hanging out there for a moment. And then we're going to turn it out. We're going to look at our palm flat, almost turned away from us. We can grab the meaty portion of the palm where the pinky is. I'm going to use my thumb here to push on the back and extend out. I like this stretch. You can alternatively do this stretch, though it stretches a few different muscles. Going to do the right side. Again, look at your palm. Very nice palm. Grab the meaty portion by the thumb. Turn the thumb away from you, pinky in and towards you, and the wrist down. If you're like most of us, one half of your body is going to be more tense than the other. So again, we're just going to take a few seconds here, find some tense portions. We're not really crunching down on anything. If it hurts, don't do that. If it burns, don't do that. See a professional. Going to again do that stretch to the outside, palm away from you. All right, shake that out a little bit. Now we're going to get into a nice horse stance, knees tracking over toes. This is just so we're starting to get the legs warmed up a little bit while we're continuing on. We'll bring the hands up, fingers spread nice and wide. We're going to close our hands quickly. We're going to be working on grip strength with this. So we're going to spread our fingers wide, close it quickly, and spread it wide again. I'm going to do this 10 times for this video, but normally in class we do it 20 times. Now we're going to bring our fingers together and clap down. And again, with each of these, we want to extend as much as possible. So not just close and, you know, half claw it, we want to extend fully. And again, we're going to do 10. So again, moving procedurally, we've come down the forearms. Now we're going to start moving the upper arms, the biceps. And we're just going to be doing Tarzans. In class, we normally do this to my count. So we're going to do 10 at a nice moderate pace and then 10 double time. And again, we want to do full extension because we're getting the biceps and the triceps warmed up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Double time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we're going to come up out of that. Because we've been, you know, in that horse stance, getting everything warmed up now. After the biceps and triceps, we move up to the shoulders. And to do this, we're going to do windmills. Okay, make sure I'm not going to hit anything. So we're going to start with small circles going forwards. We're going to make these larger, 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 larger until we got this full range of motion. Pause at the top and reverse. Doing big circles with that full range of motion. Make it smaller, 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 and smaller. Small circles going backwards. Make them larger, 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 and larger until we got that full range of motion. Pause at the top, and big circles going forward. Make them smaller, 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 and smaller. We can do this a couple times if you want. I, again, usually just do it once because I'm going to be warming everything up again in just a moment with the sword assisted. But we're getting everything moving. So we start with the small circles and make them larger circles because they activate different muscles in this entire shoulder harness area. Okay, we're going to move down to the torso. One of my personal favorite exercises is the torso twist. We get a lot of power in sword fighting from our torso, from activating our core. So we're going to make sure we got nice movement. We're going to keep our toes pointed forward, our knees pointed forward, our hips pointed forward, and we're going to look over our left shoulder, look over our right. If you have something immediately behind you, that's the best thing. That's what you're trying to look at. Gonna do this 5 times per side. Again, we can do this up to 10 or however many you want to do. But for this video, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, moving down the body. And move the sword out of the way for right now. The next thing we stretch is actually our hip flexors. So our hip flexors are on the front part of our body. The way I normally do it is with a lunge. And put something down for my knee. Set my knee down on the ground. And then I'm actually going to push forward. So the stretch is on this portion of the body. And it actually, for me, extends a little bit up into the torso because, you know, I don't stretch enough. There are ways to make this more difficult. I'm not going to do them right now. I really don't want to. This is a good enough stretch for me. Again, a nice lunge. And it's the leg that's straight that you're getting a good stretch in. And you can see I'm sort of turning away from the camera right now to get that stretch right there. So, getting that nice stretch like this. And I don't want to be hunched over because I'm not stretching anything. I'm just tensing my hamstring. I want to be nice and deep. Shoulders nice and broad and proud. All right, come up out of that. If that's too much for you, or if you can't get the knee down on the ground, you can always do this quad stretch and just pull the knee back behind you to start to get into that hip flexor. Do both sides. It's not normally part of the warm-up. That's a bonus exercise for you. All right, the next stretch, feet nice and wide. Bend the right knee, keep the left foot flat on the ground. We're going to stretch the inside of our left leg, the adductors. And switch. Now when I'm doing this stretch, I'm going to try to keep the knee in line with the toes. Really, I'm trying to get that stretch on the straight leg more than anything. We're going to switch back. This time we're pointing the toes towards the ceiling and stretching the hamstrings. If you can keep the bent knee, foot flat on the ground, cool. Good on you. I can't. Not yet. Again, I don't stretch nearly as much as I should. But again, getting a nice warming stretch of that hamstring. If it hurts, don't do it. This is all getting us used to moving and ready for sword fighting. And then the last stretch is the calf stretch. I'll just do a staggered pose and stretch that back calf. Oh, and if you want to, you can do that alternate forearm stretch here. It's up to you. And we'll switch. And if nothing else, that's a nice warm-up for if you don't have a sword with you. Now, during our normal class, at this point, we grab our sword. You can use a sword, side sword, long sword, stick. For this set of exercises, you'll actually want to be going lighter than you normally would rather than heavier. We're using a sword-assisted warm-up, which means leverage. We're using a giant lever to help us stretch and warm up. So, in between every exercise, I'm going to come back to this ready position, left leg forward, both hands on the hilt. We're going to start everything with the left hand. Why do we start with the left hand? Because we do left hand, right hand. Come back to that center. So with the left hand, we're going to do what are called sword whips first. We'll start with the sword at about a 45-degree angle forward. This is why I like having the mark on the ground, so I can just turn 90 degrees and show the different things. So it's about a 45-degree angle. I'm going to use the actual weight and momentum of the sword to come as far back as I can to this horizontal behind me. This is sword whips. This is to get our forearms moving. I'm going to do about 5 of each of these exercises. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to switch hands. Do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll notice I'm not popping my shoulder up to do this. I'm trying to keep everything in one place. I'm letting the forearm do the movement for me. Come back to ready. Second exercise. This is going to be, again, to strengthen our forearms and our grips. For this next exercise, if we hold it close to the cross, it'll be easier. Hold it more by the pommel, it'll be more difficult. Focus on form, not reps. You're only cheating yourself if you cheat the form. So, I'm going to hold it by the cross guard for now, just to show good form. Going to bring the tip forward, tip back, and up. I'm doing this in a nice controlled fashion, too. I'm not speeding through it. 3. Again, working on that forearm. 4 and 5. Again, this is a giant lever. If you have a stick, you might have to hold it a little bit more towards the center or more towards the end. It's all based on leverage and that point of balance. 1, 2. I guess I should show it from the side as well. 3, 4, 5, and ready. So when I have that, I'm getting the arm straight out there. I'm not doing this thing. I'm trying to, again, isolate that forearm when I'm doing this. All right, so the next one, again, we're moving procedurally up the arm. We've done the forearm, rotational. Now we're going to work on that bicep. We're going to do a bicep curl. There are 2 ways you can do this. The easy way is with the point back. We're just going to do regular bicep curls. Again, I want to keep my elbow about where it is in air. And I want to do this thing. That's not really working the bicep. 3, 4. That's the regular bicep curl. So that was just with the point back. If you're holding the sword with the point back, you get that nice easy bicep curl. Without changing your grip, bring the point forward. And it's a different bicep curl. You're going to get a few different muscles in there. 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, that's just the difference of whether you've got a pronated or supinated arm, hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and ready. And my regular students right now are laughing because they know that I am intentionally wasting time and holding out before I do this next exercise, because this next exercise is it's a compound exercise. It's going to be using the shoulder in all the ways that you can move it. So, number's still going to be 5. We can do this either point forward or point back. It doesn't matter. You get slightly different muscles worked, but you're going to be working all the muscles anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to do point forward for right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing circles forward, circles backwards. Sorry about that. The camera got too hot, so I had to cool it down and start again. So the compound action we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing circles going forward, circles going backwards, straight down, up, and then to the front. So what that looks like: circles going forward, circles going backwards, down, up, to the front. My goal is to always keep the sword parallel, so I'm not doing this weird thing where the point is going all over the place. But I'm going to be doing these one after the other. So this is going to be working the shoulders, and it's going to get it nice and warm. This is where less is more. Do the proper exercises. Use a lighter sword, use a stick, use a single stick, whatever you need to in order to have good form while doing this. I know it's a lot. So I'm going to be doing 5 of each, and again, it doesn't matter if you're doing point forward or point backwards. Your ideal is the same. But I'm going to do point forward for right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down, up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch hands, circles going forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down, up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and forward. 1, 2, 3, going to shake all that out and do figure eights. So the way it's described or shown in the book, it's these big figure eights, getting everything moving together. And chances are, one hand is going to be easier at doing this than the other, but you're just going to do like 10, 15 seconds, just get everything moving, switch hands. Again, this is warm-up. This is getting everything moving and getting everything used to action. So it doesn't need to be good, cuts and blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it. It comes ready. Last exercise for the warm-up, and I've gotten very long-winded here. Normally we get through it a little bit quicker because I'm not explaining everything. Maybe I'll do another video where I'm not explaining everything and just go through the warm-up. The last exercise is torso twists. So grab the blade, grab the hilt. You're going to take that left hand up, across the body. We're pushing it out towards the right side. And then to left. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm actually getting both shoulders and torso in this. So I'm getting the arm moving, shoulder. I'm also stretching here and tightening here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ready. Alright, that is the warm-up. So I'm going to salute out and get started on the next video. Thank you for watching. Again, I'm Patrick McCaffrey with L'Arte NYC, Historical Fencing. May you be granted prudence, celerity, audacity, and fortitude in all that you do. Thanks for watching.